I'm going to talk about happiness today a little bit, right? I have a lot of friends, people that reach out to me all the time, feeling depressed and down and anxious. This time I want to kind of talk a little bit just about the idea of happiness. And kind of the underlying theme that came into my mind was making happiness your choice. So many times in life, we give ourselves outs as to why we're not happy. We point the finger outward and we project outward. In the psych word, we call it a victim mentality. Everything's happening to you. Everything's happening to you. If I was born in a different area, then my dreams would have been able to come true. You know, you hear it all the time. Comparison is the thief of joy, right? I feel like in my heart that as a society, we've gotten to a point where we buy our own excuses too much. And that's become the norm. Like if we're happy, we're the weird ones. Y'all ever just like tell a random stranger, give him a random compliment, or be like, hey, hope you have a good day. And the look that you get, what is wrong with this person? If you're in a room and you're just smiling and people just look at you like, what's wrong with this guy? Why are they smiling? How sad is that? Think about that's what society has now generated as the new norm, is this idea of that guy's always smiling, he's weird. That person seems very happy, that's weird. These are the same people that will constantly judge people, and in doing that, begin to separate themselves. Walking down the street, that person's ugly, that person's poor, that person looks mean, that person looks homeless, that person this, that person that, and just constantly projecting these judgments outward. What happens is, for a brief moment, when we say these things, when we cast these judgments outward, we feel a little bit better about ourselves, right? We kind of separate a little bit. Well, that's not me. I don't look like that, or this, that, or the third, whatever it might be. But all that you're doing in your subconscious and you don't realize is you're leading yourself to loneliness. See, judging people and casting judgment on others is one of the long and windy roads to being alone. And it's not talked about enough. It's not talked about to the fact that, hey, maybe I need to stop pointing the finger outward and start pointing the finger towards myself, because people are so very quick to judge other people. But what about when it becomes of themselves, right? What about when the judgment falls on yourself? How quickly we avoid it by putting blame on other people. Oh, well, if my parents didn't do this, or if my parents would have done that, or if my 5th grade teacher would have picked my essay. We hold on to all of these things that at the end of the day are shaping our reality. So I'm a firm believer in, and this was an awesome quote by an Indian philosopher. He said, life is a single player game. For anybody that plays video games, life is a single player game. What you believe and what you do is what's going to shape your reality, right? So if we're constantly casting judgment on other people and separating ourselves from other people, all we're doing is left to be alone. And then what happens, right? We're not happy, or we feel okay in that moment that we're casting that judgment, right? Because it feels like we're a step up above whoever it is that we're casting judgment on. But as soon as that initial moment wears off, what are we left with? We're left feeling alone by ourselves and miserable because we're comparing ourselves to other people. And taking a step even further, when we think about reality and we think about what it is 100% neutral. A tree, for example, is what this same philosopher uses, doesn't have a judgment on what's right or what's wrong, right? The judgments and that we cast out into the world, that's what changes our perception of reality. And see, all that the world is a reflection on your judgments back at you. Confucius talked about the next time that you're sick, right? Put this in perspective for you. The next time you're sick, a happy person in their life wants 10,000 things, but a sick person only wants one. In those moments, the happy person has all these desires, right? All these things that they want in life. And when we break it down, actual desires, they cloud your happiness. Constantly wanting more, constantly coveting things that we don't have or that we'd like to have. And when you break down desire to its core, to where the word came from, desire means suffering. I don't know if you guys realize that. We work so hard, but we don't take time to explore what really matters. Think about how crazy this is, right? How many times in your life have you bought something because you thought that it would help other people look at you in a different light, or like you more, or increase your popularity more. But you may not even like the thing that you're buying, but you're doing it because you desire that approval from somewhere else. I love Adam Sandler so much because Adam Sandler just has got all the money in the world, right? My man could be walking through the grocery store in sweatpants and flip-flops and a sweatshirt, and a ratty one at that, and you'd have no idea. You're not going to be able to just flip on a switch and all of a sudden you're happy. It's an ongoing progression. See, a lot of people do a lot of things to search for happiness, right? To search for that inner peace. Maybe they do meditation. Maybe they do yoga. Maybe they read scripture. You know, there's all kinds of different things that people do to explore finding their true happiness, right? If we start down that rabbit hole, what is the meaning of life? And you say, okay, it's to make other people's lives better. Okay, well, why? Well, because that's what it says that I should do in my religious beliefs. Okay, why do we believe in this? And you just start down this rabbit hole of why questions and why and why and why and why and why, and you end up right back where you started. So I can't answer what the meaning of life is for you. I can't answer what makes you get up every morning because it's different for every single person. Some people, love drives them more than anything. Some people, it's their kids. Every man or woman or they has two lives. The second starts when you realize you have just one.